Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I am Mounty Curl, and welcome to the coolest show around, because on this show, it is winter all the time, and it is winter in Manhattan right now because this is The Division, and the game that is perpetually stuck in time in the winter, and it's going to be cold all the time. And as we head into the season where The Division will feel very relevant again, we are also heading back to the drawing board in terms of The Division and how many bugs they can release in one fell swoop. Now, I have been gone for quite some time. I've been traveling around the country for my job, and unfortunately I come back and there is a new incursion coming out with The Division 1.8, and it is called Hot Trash or Hot Garbage, one of the two. Go ahead and take your pick. It doesn't really matter because hot garbage is what it is. Now, I want to talk to you really quickly about why they are releasing 1.8 now, and they don't have a date for it yet, and that's really because they're trying to get it through certification. So let me go ahead and rewind and back up, and because I want to give you guys a reason why they're getting this out right now, and they don't need to, but they're going to. The information is easy to digest, and you'll understand why in just a second. As you know, one of the biggest days for video games is coming up, and that is Christmas. Yes, as you can see in The Division, it's always Christmas there. There's Christmas trees everywhere, and as you may know, there are a ton of games released between October and December 25th, and that is because even the worst games get purchased by unknowing parents during this time and can turn a profit. It's amazing what kind of hot garbage out there can turn a profit, just like the Division Incursion that's coming up. However, because developers pump out these turds in mass, you have third-party tests going into overdrive and trying to get these out as fast as possible and testing them as fast as possible. This means that in order to get something out in a timely manner, it needs to be submitted as soon as possible. Usually, most games must be submitted in August due to production of discs and artwork and containers and all of that stuff, and getting them onto store shelves in time for that Christmas holiday season. For digital content, it's a much shorter trip because no one has to press a disc to get that turd of an update out before Christmas. Now, with the state of the game, you may or may not have heard that 1.8 is being released sometime in the next month, probably because, well, with thousands of bugs, why not? That we found in the community, no doubt the numerous glitches that we will find, and as Terry Spears said on Twitter, the time is up. It doesn't mean they're done, but the time is up. I personally call BS on this, because if that was the case, why did the Division release get pushed back from November to March when it was originally released? There is always a pushback, and I think the community understands when I say we would rather have a stable release than a buggy one and moving backwards, and there isn't anyone out there saying 1.8 needs to be released right now or even in the next month. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out, and they're afraid of losing players to the almighty plethora of games coming out, like Assassin's Creed Borrigan and even Destiny 1.5 that recently came out. Look, releasing 1.8 in its state won't save Massive from people playing other games. They're not gonna give up the Division to go play other games. They are giving up the Division to go play other games, but putting out 1.8 isn't going to change that fact. In fact, putting out 1.8 in the condition that it's in will only push people toward other games. Let's face it. You gotta face the facts. Your game isn't going to survive people playing actual fun games like Super Mario Odyssey or the latest T. Martin World War II beta. You'll be lucky to survive the onslaught from Battlefield 2 unless it's just completely terrible. You see, the point is the game is 3 years old now, and is it 3 years old now? 2 years old? I don't remember. Anyways, there are newer games, cooler games that will be out, and the Division is going to take another hit. There will still be a few people playing it, but the best way to avoid this is to delay 1.8 until later, because what happens is you delay 1.8, you give those people a chance to play those other games, and then 1.8 releases and you give them a reason to come back. You had your best month for large amounts of players coming back in September, many returning because of the promise of things getting better, but what appears to be better if actually going to be worse for you guys in the long run, because releasing 1.8 is going to be a debacle in the highest regard. Let's examine why, though. By now, you must have heard that Rogue 2.0, or let's face it, call it what it is, Rogue minus 1.0, is going to be staying the exact same way as it is since day one on the PTS, because they want it that way, despite the numerous suggestions from myself, Marco Styles, The Concealed Gamer, Matt Goes Buck, Afflicted Gamer, Infamous Gaming, Buzz Lightbeer, Cal, Rylex, OG Swag Panda, 21 Kilotons, So Serious Gaming, the hundreds of Echelon guys that are out there, Elites Gaming, our Rogue Gaming, the real OG Bungie, Nick, people who work at Massive, people who work at Ubisoft, and finally the whole of Reddit's Division community. I mean, if I left out anyone, please feel free to comment down below of your suggestions and comments on why Rogue 2.0 needs to stay exactly the same, or am I missing something? Is Rogue 2.0 needing to stay the same, or are they just disregarding anything? Why have a PTS if you're just going to keep everything exactly the same? And why, really, even comment down there why releasing 1.8 is a mistake. I mean, I gotta breathe and continue. There are numerous other bugs, from classified gear being OP like Predator's Mark to some being downright invincible like Nomad. There are shield issues for scaling, there are more gear issues in Massive. I would just like to say that I would love to subscribe to your game, because right now it has more issues than most magazines can push out in a year. This patch might as well be the Harvey Weinstein of patches, because it's forcing itself on us and we don't want to be screwed by it. Sure, we want to play this game, but we don't want to get screwed by it, and if this patch gets released, we might as well bend over it while we're playing it. Let's continue with the state of the game. Let's go ahead and move into that, because that's what this is really about. I've gone through my long diatribe, so let's go ahead and just hashtag me too, and we'll move on from there, because for some reason they just decided to go ahead and, without any input or anything like that, they're just going to release 1.8 with all of the terrible bugs that are in there, with all of its flaws and everything like that. So there's nothing at this point that we can do to change their minds. So now, for the state of the game, they decided to throw out poor timid Petter Rabbit out there in front of the firing squad to deliver some news, and he looked really sad, like real sad, like the guy who stands in front of the firing squad and gets shot in the face sad. Like, that's how sad it is. And the first real news that he delivered is that the PTS will be closing on October 31st. Yes, Halloween will be the end of the PTS, and there's no PTS 3 coming to consoles, which is even a bigger mistake. The one thing that they need to do is continually get console feedback, and they continually deny it. I don't understand why they deny the largest player base to the option to go ahead and give feedback, but I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter, because they're just basically not even giving take any of the feedback that we've given them and putting it into the game. Now, the global event Strike will actually come out next. I don't even see anything that they did with that. They tested it on the PTS. It's absolutely garbage. It's not even fun. I wasn't even, enamored with it. It just seemed like guys exploded and that was it. Global events commendation tied to DLC. This is kind of something that they're doing so that you buy the DLC, which is like 2 years old now, because they're going to be adding it to incursions like Dragon's Nest. It just fits the theme of the global event. While some of the commendations are tied to paid DLC, you'll still be able to get masks when you don't own the DLC, which is kind of weird. I don't understand what they're trying to do there. Basically, they want you to buy stuff is what it comes down to it, and so. And last week's State of the Game, there was an absence of the regular staff, and this week there's just the same, and they're apparently busy on other stuff. That's just basically what he said. They're busy on other stuff, and so they don't even have time to put patch notes up for us. So basically, it seems like they've given up at this point. Crazy busy is something that the term that they used, and crazy busy on other stuff is basically what it comes down to. So anyways, let's move on. End of the PTS, October 31st. The verification processes that I talked about earlier, they got to get it in early in order for it to release in November, and so that's the way it's going to be. Even though it could release in later December or even January, and we would be fine. So Rogue 2.0, that's going to happen. It'll pretty much stay the same way it is on the PTS. They are not incorporating any of the changes. They'll also keep an eye on it, is what they say, just like everything else that they keep an eye on. And so they'll do more updates. And the Strikers Nomad, those aren't being changed. So pretty much if you had any problem with those being changed, those aren't being changed. They're happy with Predator's Mark in PvE, but in some combinations it can be powerful in PvP. Yeah, they're going to keep an eye on that too. They've been tweaking the D3 FNC gear set, and pretty much it's designed to be the ultimate tank set. So as of now, it's going to stay the same way as it's on the PTS, but they'll keep an eye on it. So that's pretty much, I don't understand, like, really, That's pretty much it. You know, that's all they really talked about. That's of importance. There's other stuff that could be important that I could talk about, but really that's it. Pretty much the news here is that they're releasing 1.8 in a basically unfinished state just to get something out to everybody, just to try and bring people in before all of that crap goes. You know, no normalization of 14.0, you know, 1400 and skirmish and LS, the lag issues, the server issues. They're not mentioning anything like that. There's no news on, you know, weapon balances or other changes to weapons. There's a ton of stuff that they just kind of skipped over. And so it's kind of disappointing, and I'm disappointed. Like this feels like it's very much the end. Like 1.8 very well could be the last update that we see, and I'm sorry to say that, but the way they're treating this is that they just want to get this out there so that they can move on. And maybe it's time for a lot of us to do the same thing. I mean, maybe we need to have a memorial for it, and we just move on, because basically what's going to happen is if they release 1.8 and nobody plays it, they're just going to go ahead and go, see, we knew that's what we were going to do. And that's, you know, and that's it. That's just, you know, I'm sorry to say it, but it looks like this may be the very end of the Division for everybody. There may not be a 1.9, because what comes after 1.9? 2? There's not going to be a Division 2. This took 5 years for them to build out. And what is Massive working on? They're working on Avatar. There's no discussion about whether or not they're working on Division 2 or if they're going to release something, an announcement at E3. But the way the Division is going, if they were working on a Division 2, I would think that they would at least say they're working on a Division 2 just to give people like us a little kick, a little boost or something like that. I've watched several videos. I gave a list of names, and every one of those people on there has a idea about Rogue 2.0 and some of the stuff. I mean, even I had suggested that there would be a toggle switch, but when you go into the dark zone, it doesn't tell anybody that you're rogue. It just allows you to shoot other players. If you don't have it toggled on, you have the friendly fire on, and there you go. That's pretty much it. So you still have that rogue sense, but you're already toggled into it, but nobody knows who's rogue and who's not. And so once you shoot somebody, then you go rogue, and there it is. You know, it removes that sense of 2.0, and it still gives you the option to go rogue or not go rogue. That's the difference. It still gives you that option. It still puts you into that state so that things still stay the same. But however, they've just ignored pretty much everybody's suggestions as to what Rogue 2.0 should be. And honestly, I may get a lot of flack from this, but I blame a lot of the ETFs. The ETFs were probably some of the worst things that could do. I believe that these changes came out with ETF Bravo. So if you were part of ETF Bravo, you might want to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you guys were the ones who talked about the rogue changes to begin with, and you guys set this ball in motion. So this is on you guys and on Massive for having those ETFs and ruining the game for everybody else who doesn't like Rogue 2.0. Now, there's going to be some debate as to whether Rogue 2.0, and I know that I'm going into this long diatribe about Rogue 2.0, but I shouldn't be, because it's been beaten to death and they're not going to change it. So there's really no way for me to even, make my voice known. So anyways, we'll just drop it there. If you have suggestions for Rogue 2.0, whether you hate it, whether you like it, anything that you possibly could do about it, like I said, I have a video from over a year ago about how rogues ruined the Division, and now Massive has ruined rogues. So it's pretty much a two-way street here. So who knows? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. It's good to be back. I'm glad. I've taken a long time, and I've been trying to stream more and do more stuff with the community and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and kick up family game night. Probably tomorrow night we're gonna have an open stream. We're gonna be playing some Jackbox Party Pack, and I'm gonna get my PUBG stuff back on. I'm home for a couple more weeks before I have to go back out on the road again, and then I will be back and doing this all over again. And so we'll see what happens when 1.8 drops. There are numerous bugs, as you may have seen on my stream. Things appearing, people disappearing, people reappearing. There's just absolutely a ton of stuff with resistance, with skirmish, that are absolutely absolutely horrible, and it needs to be fixed. I don't know what they're going to do. 1.8 is going to be one of the worst things to happen to the division, and if you had asked me a month ago, it would have been one of the best things to happen to the division, and I was not expecting it to come out until at least late November, and I expected them to do a lot more to it than they did, and they just basically gave up. I mean, to not see Hamish, to not see Yannick on the stream this week, to own up to everything that they've done, to try and push this out, I don't know what else to do. As a division YouTuber, I'm highly disappointed in the team at Massive. I'm not gonna go ahead and go on one of my rants that I normally go on, calling for jobs and all that stuff, because this is something that they're gonna have to live with. This is something that they're doing the community, and this is something that they probably do understand, that they're breaking this down for you guys. So anyways, I'm disappointed, I'm heartbroken for you guys, because we've stuck with them for this long, and we've tried this hard to come to this point for them to give up on us. So just let them know I would tweet Massive and Hamish and Yannick and anybody else who's had a part in the division, and just let them know how disappointed you are in them. I mean, that's really all we can do at this point. Just let them know that we'll be watching, and they can expect us to play something else, because they obviously gave up, so why should we continue playing? So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I apologize for all the people that that really wanted this to be a great patch, and I apologize. I can't do anything more than try and get this out. The only thing I can do is email a bunch of people at Ubisoft and just ask them why this happened, and to try to prevent it. But anyways, thank you again for watching. I love you guys. You guys are the best. Hopefully I'll be able to get more content out like this and keep it coming, but I will see you guys next time. I'll see you guys on stream or whatever it is, but Mounty's always here for you. So for all of us here, Gun Brothers Gaming, drop a like, drop a sub. Mounty out.